Absolum is an incredible blend of genres, as it mixes up this chaotic action of a beat 'em up with that strategic planning of a roguelite. It's been on my radar since it was revealed at Gamescom, and while I was excited, I never did really play games like it. Not that I had anything against beat 'em ups, but I just had more focused interests that I prioritized. But something felt different about this one. Maybe it was the art style or what combat they showed. Whatever it was, it piqued my interest enough to make me buy it without doing any research on it first, which is really rare for me. I believe there's something special about Absolum, and the journey to vanquish Azra is an amazing time as you permanently upgrade your character, making you more prepared for the next run. Now I won't say too much on the story because the game hasn't been out for that long, but we'll mention roughly the startup. Azra, the Sun King, has banished the use of magic and enslaved wizards in the process. Galandra and Karl are working together to save Mother Uchawi, who has been captured and bound to feed off her powers. Once rescuing her, she flees, to which you will eventually meet her again in the hub world. This is where the story starts to open up and gets explained to you about freeing Talam from the clutches of Azra's grasp, with a bunch of other people in the hub world to explain their involvement in the world and how they've existed under the watchful eye of Azra and his regime. There's a lot there for people who really want to discover the happenings in the world, and while I did enjoy this, I found myself more drawn to the combat. Now most of the footage will be single player, as that was how I mostly played it, but the multiplayer is really good too, and I'll talk about that in a bit. The game feels so easy to pick up and play, firing out a flurry of punches, kicks, slashes and oh bro, chill. But the point stands that this gameplay feels comfortable, simple, while also giving you some freedom to navigate through fights. You aren't fighting one target most of the time, so being on top of your defensive options is just as important as knowing what attacks would yield the best results against a mob of enemies. When I first picked up the game, I was all about offense, launching out attack after attack. This works in some areas, sure, but as you start encountering more enemies that can block, evade and punish, you learn really quick that this playstyle isn't optimal for a full run. I'm sure someone who has brought this game to its knees hundreds of times may disagree, but from my experience in this genre, that isn't something I personally could do. Now in the multiplayer, it allows for you to push out aggressively, applying pressure and overwhelming enemies, but they're significantly spongier and take a real beatdown before you can drop them. I did find this extremely fun, as I and a random both ran cider and acrobatically smashed out combos and juggled enemies through their entire health bar. Also, just a little side note, when I played with a random I had around 170 to 200 MS, and still the game played really well. Even with that connection, which I'm guessing is West Coast America, but it was surprising how well it handled it and played. While in the hub area, you can speak to a ghostly figure who allows you to check what feats you've met. I'm always a fan when a platform, achievements and trophies are intertwined into the game with rewards. So the achievements you earn through overcoming challenges, beating bosses, and specific milestones give you a currency that helps you level up faster, upgrade and acquire skills. So in Absolum, there are 4 characters to play as, and you start off with 2 of them. At the beginning of the game, you start off with either Karl or Galandra. Karl plays like a bruiser as he throws out hands, headbutts and has a gun that can be used at any range. He's extremely effective and easy to pick up and play, and Karl's specials are based around his gun. Galandra dons a greatsword to throw out heavy attacks between her quick close quartered strikes and a range of specials that cover distance. Her specials are focused around her greatsword. Cider was the main character I was interested in playing, with this rogue-like acrobatics of speedy attacks and augmented arm that allows you to get back into the thick of it after a launch. Cider's specials are all gadgets, which I felt gave them a lot of freedom with how they played. And finally Brome, a frog wizard which uses its staff and tongue for close combat and has a range of different spells as specials. All 4 of them have 6 different arcanes, which boils down to special attacks requiring a full bar of mana to use. So with this variation of characters and arcanes, it gives these similar but varied styles of play. While all of them can charge in to start a combo, they have specialised forms of utility for you to work with that give them all their own spice of gameplay. Each run starts off very similar, with it giving you a starting ritual which applies these effects to your actions such as attacks, dodges, guards and the rest. These effects can apply burn, bounce lightning, water pushing enemies away and more that unlock the further you get. These all feel different from one another and help you focus prioritising how you want your build to go for that run. These can all level up to more potent versions of themselves. Then we have inspirations, which alter how particular attacks are. Some can add additional attacks, or some can change it entirely, and others unlock new options. For example, Galandra has a heavy attack. One of the inspirations allows this single attack to be followed up with 2 extra attacks. With Karl, his base heavy attack is a headbutt, which can be changed into a reloading attack which hits enemies with the shell of the gun. And while playing as Cider, I found an inspiration which allowed me to launch myself and an enemy into the air before performing an Azuna drop. It's called a gyro drop, but this was awesome to find and I love that. And finally, trinkets, which basically increase stats, movement speed, crit chance, luck, damage against enemies, and so on and so forth. With all these factors given to you to play around with, you can really pick and choose how you want your build to go. Solely focusing on one element to constantly apply its effects can be a powerful choice, but mixing it up can cover you in a multitude of ways. You can even find combinations between two elements giving duo characteristics for the price of one. When it comes to enemies and their design, they follow this connection to their location that they're housed in. Knights stand guard around castles and villages, goblins inhabit the forest, and wildlife lurk in areas no longer needed anymore. This only continues being the case the further you go through the run, with spirits and skeletons haunting graveyards and an array of different humanoid beasts when you get to this new island that carries this feeling of Mother Nature taking back the world. With each enemy you come across, they'll be using specific weapons or projectiles, and some just run at you trying to grab you and throw you. There's a great deal of care put into the enemies to make them feel varied and plentiful, so it doesn't always feel like the same encounter each time. During the mine area, skeleton dwarfs rushed to these huge stones and started chipping away at them until it broke, which inside revealed another skeleton dwarf. This is such a creative way of bringing an extra enemy to the field without them just jumping in, and I love this kind of imagination. Now the bosses on the other hand are obviously stars of the show, as they have aggressive patterns that really push you to learn your defensive options. It's not a simple block till it's your turn, but block, evade and punish when you see openings. This becomes an enjoyable gameplay loop as enemies that may have given you some struggle early on become second nature to simply decimate. They have unique attacks, grabs and projectiles that punish anyone who prioritizes throwing out damage instead of strategizing what the best play is. On top of this, there are also some secret bosses and end of character side mission bosses that really stand out as these awesome encounters that push you to your limits. Like I said at the start, Absolum is an incredible blend of genres. It's addictively fun, filled with engaging combat, interesting synergies and build variations in a beautifully pieced together world full of characters and stories to discover. I've not been someone who has dived into the beat 'em up genre that much in my life, but something about the visuals and gameplay sunk its teeth into me when it first revealed. And I'm glad it did, as I've had an absolute blast and wonder if I should have played some other beat 'em up games. I guess time will tell. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely day and or evening, and I'll catch you next time.